Good. Well, almost knocked over my coffee. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I scooted up, like, closer to the table, and I just pushed everything on the table, almost over the edge. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope that you're having a lovely day out there. Hope you're ready for a full album listen that we are going to go ahead and get into today. We are going to give a full album listen to Subhumans. Never heard of them, never listened to them, never done anything with them. But we're going to listen to their full album, From the Cradle to the Grave. This is their second studio album, released in 1983. So, like I said, I've never heard of the band, don't know a thing about them, but the band has been suggested to me by quite a few people. Grumpy Old Git. It's funny. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm going to say Io. Just like the Peter Gabriel album, I can't say the rest of it, but Ionipiala. I can't even play. Joyous Monkey, Heath Corned Beef, Trifid Killer, Mega Hairy Bum, Floating Anarchy. And the list goes on slightly from there. So you guys, thank you for the suggestion. And even if you didn't recommend specifically this album, you've at least made mention of the band. In listening to, you know, some more punk that we've been doing here, I see that people have recommended this band from listening to Crass, Buzzcocks, Clash, Ramones, Bad Brains. So I figured let's just go ahead and do a full album listen. Now, one thing I think is kind of interesting, kind of cool, is looking at the track list. The final track on the album here, which is the title track, is a whopping 16 minutes. I'm very curious to hear what the band does in 16 minutes there. So we're just going to start off right from the top, right from the beginning. And some of the tracks are a little short, so I'll probably let a few of them run together. I'm going to let the first three run together because they're just average about a minute to 2 minutes. So we'll get a little bit of a taste for them. We'll talk about them after as we go. Hope you guys are settled in, excited to give it a listen. And that's it. That is the intro. Let's dive on in. Let's take our first bite. And we'll talk about it after. Starting with intro, then into Forget, into Waste of Breath. Here we go. That's definitely a slap in of an intro. Into Forget.
So I get in the morning like most people do. I look in the mirror and I think of you. So I smash the pieces and go downstairs.
I like how deep that guitar
I
gets.
walked down the road to meet someone I knew. It could have been God, but I think it was you. So I get on man, don't really care.
It's delivery. That goes off really hard. That.
And I'm not telling you plastic goo. The dummies are real, can always be you. It's what's the time and it doesn't make sense.
Jeez.
Crashed out in the gutter, covered in spew. Last thing I remember is a picture of you. I smashed my wing, made my way.
I'm having trouble keeping up with the lyrics. I really like that guitar line though. Waste of Breath is now the next track. Jeez.
The last people you can trust. It's the story of your life, and the end of it's
tempo change.
You don't know who you might have been or who you now should be, or what you want to write on walls or why you want to be free. And then you start to panic because the inspiration's there. You're not sure how to use it, and anyway, no one seems to care. It's the story of your life, and the end of it's your death. And every
True.
word that's in between is just a waste of breath.
I really like that slow down tempo changes that they have. Okay, solo.
You're a classic or a failure who never seems to win. You like to write a book, but you're not sure how to begin. It's the story of your life, the end of it is your death, and every word that's in between is just a waste of breath.
The
It's the
walk.
story of your life, and the end of it is your death, and every word that's in between is just a waste of breath.
Okay, let's just put the muzzle on the dog for just a second here. Let's review these first 3 tracks. That starts off really good. Okay, I'm liking this. Remember, it's taken me a little bit to get used to punk, to get used to the sound, to get used to the vocals, the music in general. Now I'm comfortably not numb, but I'm comfortably in a good place. Yes. Really enjoy the guitar work in here, especially, I mean, in the first track, yeah, the intro, which sets us up with this kind of punky march, right? You feel the frizz, you feel the tangible tension in the air as it's marching into the album. As it moves into the first track with Forget, the guitar is just growling. I love how deep it gets, and it sustains. It's not, I mean, it does eventually, but it's just like a solid chord, I'm assuming, and it just drifts with this heavy dirtiness. And then lead singer, use his name, Dick Lucas. He just goes off so quick. I'm reading the lyrics, but he's going so fast. I'm trying to keep up with him. And then, of course, the rest of the group joins in on those harmonies, and that's a really, really great intro. Forget was really cool just because of that guitar, but also, like I said, just that quick, careless, reckless abandon with the delivery from Lucas there. And then getting into the second song, we got in the second, but moving on to the third song, I should say, I really like those tempo changes. The way that the music actually slows down or speeds up as it moves into whichever tempo it's going to move into, I think is really, really well done. It's kind of cooler to listen to this, the way they transition that sometimes, like how they did, rather than just like immediately double timing or immediately slowing it down. It's kind of a cool little lead up. It kind of builds, not anxiety, but it builds, what is the word I'm thinking of? It builds, like you can't wait for it to explode into what it's moving into. It builds anticipation. That's the word I'm thinking of. And I think throughout these 3 tracks, the band has done an excellent job of not only building anticipation throughout, but satisfying that anticipation. So obviously the first track was instrumental, but for Forget. So I get up in the morning like most people do. I look in the mirror and I think of you. So I smash it to pieces and go downstairs. I walk down the road and meet someone I knew. It could have been good, but I think it was you. So I forget all about it. I don't really care. I remember the face, the place, the time. I wrote you a song, but it didn't rhyme. But I want to remember. I just want to forget. Sounds like a relationship gone sour, and he's just trying to forget about this other person. An advert on telly for plastic goo. The dummy's so real it could almost be you. But it smiles all the time when it doesn't exist. Crashed out in the gutter covered in spew. The last thing I remember is a picture of you, but I smashed it last week when I was pissed. Well, there you go. Pretty straightforward. And that's another thing about punk, right? For the most part, it's pretty straightforward. On the next track, Waste of Breath, I thought these lines were funny. You paint your leather jacket, but it comes off in the rain. And the more you cut your hair, the more it grows again. Like, almost like this poser, like, you paint your jacket, you want to look all punk, you want to, walk the walk and talk the talk, but as soon as it rains, it washes off. Like, you're not really one of us. The badges you pin on yourself fall off or start to rust, and the more they take the piss, the less people they can trust. It's the story of your life, it's the end of your death, Or I'm sorry, it's the story of your life, and the end of it, it's your death. And every word that's in between is just a waste of breath. Almost a little bit of a nihilistic point of view there. You don't know who you might have been or who you should be, or what you ought to write on walls, or why you want to be free. And then you start to panic because the inspiration's there, but you're not sure how to use it anyway, and no one seems to care. Those are some really good lines. You don't know who you might be or who you should have been, why you write on the walls, why you want to be free. You're a little bit lost in life. There's no sense of direction about you. And then you start to panic because the inspiration's there. You want to do something, but you're not sure how to use that inspiration, where to put that energy into, and no one else cares because it's about you. Those are some good lines. This is good. You're the classic all-around failure who never seems to win. You'd like to write a book, but you're not sure how to begin. It's the story of your life, and the end of it's your death, and every word that's in between is just a waste of breath. Harsh words, but sometimes it's a harsh reality that we're dealt. I like that. This is good. Let's keep going, huh? Moving on to the next track here. Where's the freedom? Here we go. Building anticipation.
We're going backwards into the sin of self-neglect. What do we stand for? It's very easy to forget the protest marches. Is it the nothing to object? So where's the freedom? Your conscience ain't to rain all day.
Very nice drumming.
Where's the freedom? Where's the freedom? Where's the freedom?
What a great fill. I almost wouldn't expect that.
We're going crazy with paranoia, fear and greed, accepting standards, believing what we hear and read, and then we think we sussed out a new reality. But is this freedom just another hand from which we feed? Where's the freedom?
I like how he holds that raspy outcry.
Where's the freedom? Where's the freedom?
It's kind of catchy, right? Start again. Hold it back, slowed it down.
We're going nowhere. If it's a struggles with direct and social culture, with things that bending on the face, we gotta see part. It ain't fire, figure every time the set stop. I put another in
See how they just speed up so naturally?
So where's the freedom? Where's the freedom? Where's the freedom? Where's your freedom?
Is it just me, or with Subhumans, are they not the average punk band? Because I'm getting a lot more depth out of this, not to disparage, of course, any other bands we've listened to, but I'm just saying, I'm getting a lot more depth, tonality, rhythmic changes from their music there's a lot more melody. As harsh as it may be, it's still there. I also want to say that Dick Lucas, lead singer, he kind of reminds me, like vocally, perhaps tonally, of Johnny Rotten. Not that I've heard a lot of the Sex Pistols, but there's something, can I say, a little bit more powerful that I've heard here so far. Once again, not to disparage, and I don't even really want to compare. I'm just getting a little bit of a similarity, and I really like how he sings here in the music. The chorus is also kind of catchy. Where's my freedom? I'm not doing it right, but it's kind of catchy. And then the way that the hits come in at the very end of that, bump, 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 which they really nicely use at the end of the track to close it out, delaying those hits a little bit, so it keeps that measure of unpredictableness in the music, which I really like when listening to punk. I think that's partly part of the reason I like those transitions and the tempo shifts so much, is because it does make it unpredictable. It's not cookie cutter. As a matter of fact, it's outside of the cookie cutter. It's outside of the form. That's really good. And the guitarist, being played by Bruce, that's no last names, just Bruce. Bruce is really cool. And I enjoyed the solo in the previous track as well. I forgot to mention that, but now hearing the lead that came in there, his guitar playing is really, really nice. And I think that it kind of nicely captures that balance between harsher tones, while at the same time giving it this kind of direct, punchy in the throat melody, if that makes sense. Also, the drums were really fantastic here. Trotsky is the drummer here, and that long fill is, I know it's weird, but it's not something I would really expect to hear coming from the sound we're hearing here. Once again, I'm getting the idea that there's a little bit more depth to Subhumans than perhaps I gave them credit for when I was gonna do this reaction. We're going backwards into the sin of self-neglect. What do we stand for? It's easy to forget. The protest marches, is it the done thing to object? So where's the freedom? Your conscience hangs around your neck. Where's the freedom? We're going crazy with paranoia, fear, and greed, accepting standards, believing what we hear and read. And when we think we've sussed out a new reality, but is this freedom just another hand from which we feed? Where's the freedom? Going nowhere. In vicious circles we gyrate, the new subculture with cliches painted on our face. We cannot see the past, the elitist barriers we create. We reject the system, but put another in its place. Where's the freedom? I say it almost every time we do a like something punk related, but the lyrics are always speaking a little bit of truth, and I think they really nicely summed it up at the very end. We reject the system, but then you put another in place. Where's the freedom? This is good. Let's move on. Let's do the next two tracks, since the next one's about 2 minutes long. Then the next one after that is 3 minutes. So let's do the next two tracks, which is going to be Reality is Waiting for a Bus, and then Us Fish Must Swim Together. Let's go. Fast riff. That was fast, you gotta admit. Throw you up with this and then it's like you get a little break. Small one.
Reality
Guys, isn't this incredible? Next track. No. No, no, no. Fun little guitar effect going on there. Okay, it's moving on into the next track. I'm gonna make a statement super early. We're what, 5 songs in, 6 songs in? In a way, we're I guess halfway through. Besides Dead Kennedys Rotting, if this keeps on going in the direction that it is, this could end up being one of my favorite punk albums. Not that I've listened to a lot at all, duh. But like how are you guys feeling about this at this point? Because I think that this is really incredible. It's staying very true to what I believe is the heart of punk music, but not afraid to put out some risk and be very dynamic in their playing. And Reality is Waiting for a Bus. 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, they do so much that, if I may make a comparison, takes like a progressive rock band like 10 minutes to do. But they put it all down in 2 minutes. That's impressive to be that concise, pointed, poignant, with great musicianship all around, everyone. That really fast guitar riff that just blitzes out of nowhere, like just like machine gun guitar. And then that little bit of a reprieve that they give right after before they throw you right back to the lion's den. That is so good. Really, really enjoying the guitar work from Bruce. And then not that I would say it's like an abstract kind of sound, but the different sounds that he experiments within the songs, not to an experimental degree or anything, but the different scratchy kind of tones that come out in different areas just lend itself so well to the band's overall sound. Now, you have to admit that the transition from Waiting for a Bus into Fish Must Swim Together, where did that come from and where were we going? When that transition hits, at least me, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I could already tell the band had a lot of depth and a lot of momentum in the direction that they're moving in. But when they switched up into that I don't even know how you describe the riff. I don't know, it's like kind of, to me, like almost the beginning of like some sort of classical soundtrack or something. Like, it's just so gentle, so soft, obviously in comparison to everything we heard before. And they let that ride for a little bit. I really didn't know where the rest of this track was going to go. And even though they come off of that initial intro and go into something closer to their style, it still doesn't hit, it's not as harsh as what we've heard before. So this is, at least what I'm kind of guessing, their softer moments to kind of back off a little bit, ease off the pedal, but they still make you think. Talking about us fish must swim together from evolution from the very beginning till now. Instead of, like they said, instead of you know doing pollution and bombs and building these things, all we need is food, each other, and we're good. Like, we're good to go. So why throw in all the rest? So all of us need to be together. I like that. It's a positive message thrown in there in a positive light. Let's look at the lyrics though. For reality is waiting for a bus. Like, reality just sometimes hits you like a bus, doesn't it? Reality isn't easy to define, like turning water into wine. And it's spelled wine like crying. It's a dream of fact based on fiction. Everything you do has its restrictions. Everyone has their own definition. The record shop's got plastic nutrition. Because music is the food of love, but reality is waiting for a bus. You know, I guess... I don't know why I thought reality is waiting for a bus, like waiting for a bus to hit you. But no, just waiting for the bus to arrive so you can get on it and get to where you're going. So I like that life journey that they're putting there, or they're giving meaning to. And there's an anarchy sign on the bus stop wall, but it's very hard to relate. The bus work to keep in line, who's gonna smash the state? It's too easy to get cynical and make the problem clinical. Too easy to give it a strict definition. But in which direction do you turn? Do you preach or do you burn? Pamphlets blowing out in the breeze, a mother on her weeping knees. Reality is on the news at 10, but the bus to work is late again. This is so good. Do you guys like this album so far? Because I'm really impressed with it. I know I keep asking that, but I'm just trying to get some feedback because this is very surprising. And then moving on to Us Fish Must Swim Together, which I like how the music, like I said, slows down here. And it definitely still retains the edge, but you can definitely feel a little bit of a halt in that momentum. And I think that the almost wonky-ish, not totally, but like the almost wonky-ish way that the music is approached here lends a good amount of weight to the lyrics as well. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. When fishes roamed the sea, they swam around before anything else in 10 million years BC. Then one day they decided to evolve into vertebrates, and a few came out of the water and got drunk to celebrate. Soon, well, when I say soon, I mean a couple million years, which I think is, I love when a vocalist, a band, like comes out of the fourth wall a little bit. They evolved into various quadrupeds with legs and things and ears, and about 1 trillion eons later they went all civilized. Well, how civilized did they get? They built lots of bombs and council flats. They reach into the skies. The moral of this tale, you see, we are descended from the fish. And if we progress much further, we'll put our lives at risk. We're starting to destroy ourselves with pollution, war, and greed, when food and sex and water is all we really need. When sink or swim is the choice you get, you cannot swim forever. You need support to keep you alive. Us fish must swim together. Isn't the writing really good? I'm sorry, I keep asking, but like, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed listening to this. This is good. Let's move into the next track here, which is Wake Up Screaming. Let's go. Screaming indeed. They almost get this kind of industrial alternative metal kind of sound. Right? This is so industrial. Almost a gothic-y doom riff. This is like Sabbath-ish, right? Speeding up. This, I almost went into the next song. This album just keeps getting better. I'm going to tell you something really quick. So I have the Wikipedia page open, and over on the side, you know, because I always look at the personnel, if there's any extra facts or anything, I like to baby bird or mama bird those back to you. You know what I see over here on the right side under professional ratings and review scores for this album? I see that there's one review score from AllMusic, and the album is rated a 2 out of 5 star. Are we listening to the same album? I that baffles me. I know opinions and stuff, but this is nowhere near a 2 out of 5 album. Maybe is it just me? It can't be. No, can't be. Before when I knew I was going to listen to this album and I saw that there was a 60-minute track on there, had my curiosity. And I hate to make a Django Unchained reference, but now it has my attention because the band clearly has the talent, the know-how, the musicianship, the meaning, the message, the feeling, the passion behind it all, that I'm very excited to really listen to that 16-minute track and hear what they're gonna do there. Wake Up Screaming. How do we talk about Wake Up Screaming without talking about that intro and that riff in the first half? Menacingly gothy, almost industrial-esque, just a slowed down, slow drip coffee of heavy punk. And can I tell you, like, it really did feel like it could have gone into a more metal direction if a few changes were made, which I find very impressive. The music to me sounded very Sabbath, especially in the guitar, and I would even argue in not the lyrics necessarily, but the vocal delivery felt very Black Sabbath to me. I don't know if there's any sort of inspiration or anything like that, but that was really good. And if I'm being honest, I would have preferred that the whole song stay in that kind of mid-tempo breakdown-ish regalia, but I'm happy with what we got. I'm happy with where it went because I'm really enjoying the band's sound. Guitar, once again, from Bruce is really fun to listen to. He has a lot of great leads, some really nice solos as well. And then Lucas, obviously, this is just good. I know I keep saying that, but I'm genuinely surprised and impressed with this. I don't think I am what I was before, because I never watched anyone die before. Oh, I wish I'd never left home. Oh, I wish I left it all alone. To me, already, I'm getting the idea of someone perhaps suffering from PTSD. They went to war. Perhaps they got drafted. They saw things. They did things that they didn't want to see or do. As he mentioned, seeing people die. And now he's not the same as he was before. And I like that, how blatant and straightforward the lyrics are written here. Temptation is a disease because you never do as you please. Your body takes over, your mind don't care. Never think twice what might happen out there. This is good. Screaming, screaming, screaming. Go straight in for the ultimate sin. Nobody else ever seems to care. So I took what I thought was mine and I waited for a very long time. And I thought I knew what happened to you. You told me exactly what to do. So I did it right. I stayed up all night. I felt like killing myself for you. I don't think I think like I did before. I never watched anyone die before. I like how he accepts and realizes that he's not the same person as he was before, because before he had never seen anyone die, and now he has. I felt like I died as well, the look, the words, the smell. The way you looked at me as if I'd never been free. I remember the words like a favorite song, because I forget the way things went wrong. Faked a picture of perfect health. I realized I was killing myself. This is fantastic. This is so good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to keep on listening to this album. Let's listen to the next two songs here together, which is going to be Adversity and Rain. Let's go. There's always something new around the corner.
I saw the advert on the TV screen. Slimline girls in a tea machine. Hands swapped front of her shiny floor, as if that's what she was living for. I can't do what it takes pulled out. That's what the public loves, no doubt. I
heard
can't
that?
get it to make it small. I can't run free for a very long while.
opened up.
It's got the accent of the black cat men. Like hell the north will rise again. The comrade shippers drinking ale. The workers revolution fail. The best on shit to notice it. Never mind where it has been burned.
I love that
I
breakdown.
saw the advert on my TV screen. Slip like got the real meat machine. It's even than this, it's even than that. It's still £10,000 you twat. Until I get a free time with everyone. Can I turn it off into the sun? As it got a big up train, I booked on 14 bags a day.
It's a nice beat. It's a good groove. A little picking.
You mustn't smoke, you mustn't drink, you mustn't even try to think. Just make everything up and say, ain't gonna tell people that no place. Ain't gonna tell them they enjoyed it. The old damn country died of boredom.
Oh man. Now rain. That's a downpour.
When it's dark outside and it's raining, it's pouring, and the atmosphere it's like it always has been. Thoughts of revolution. How and why just pass on by. Gloom and depression, fake deprivation. Well, I've got no money. Are you depressing, obsessive, obsessed? Someone or no one, you alive or dead?
I like how the echo, that call and response comes back to the previous
Do you
track.
take your ideas from other people, surrounded by boredom? You get boring, and then you start to enjoy it. Take all the plugs out and set it gone as it's dark in your head. You're not alive anymore, and it's raining. Well, it's raining. Are you depressive, obsessive, obsessed? Someone or no one, you alive or dead?
It's like bringing that action down. You know that's a cool start off. That's a great jump pad. Are they slowing down or is it just me? It's me. You have to say that Rain ends with just a downpour, a deluge, a flood. It just ravages. It just punishes. That was such a great ending for Rain. I mean, it started off really hard, but then at the end, it's just flooding. What was I gonna say? I really like how in Rain, how obviously there's a transition between Adversity and Rain, but I really liked how in Rain they brought back that little call and response between the bass and the guitar that you had in Adversity before, but they brought it back into different sections throughout Rain. I thought that was a really cool callback, and I actually listened throughout the album. Even though I've kind of botched a few of them, you can clearly hear some of the songs transitioning into the next, whether that is an actual organic transition or whether it's like a perfect kind of cutoff. Like you really hear that connective tissue between the tracks, which is really, really good. Also, Phil, who's the bass player, I really like how he got some, not solo time, but in a sense, solo time at the end of Adversity, because I've heard him clearly throughout the rest of the album. I just haven't really mentioned him because it hasn't stood out a ton. But I really like how there was that moment there for Phil to stand out on the bass playing, and the guitar goes back into like, it sounds like kind of like very light picking, like not fully hitting the notes and letting them ring out, but just kind of almost like a pizzicato kind of sound, but not exactly, I'm sure. But this is just a great album. Let me leave it at that. Let me just leave it at that. I'm gonna be on. Want me to be 100% honest with you? This track and Rain, Adversity and Rain, I'm kind of like going by them. Obviously, they're great. I enjoyed them, but I really want to listen to the title track and that 60-minute one. I'm just telling you. I saw the advert on my TV screen. Slimline girls in a tea machine. Housewife proud of her shiny floor, as if that's what she was living for. The cat who had his teeth pulled out. That's what the public love, no doubt. A cuddly gimmick to make you smile. That cat won't grin for a very long while. Almost like taking pleasure in not necessarily pleasure in others' pain, but like there's a way of saying that. I'm not quite sure how to say it. Perhaps being ignorant to others' pains for someone else's joys. He repeats the lyrics there again. The comradeship of drinking ale, the workers' revolution failed. Too pissed on us to notice it. Never mind where if it fits. I saw the advert on my TV screen. Some line cars, a real mean machine. It's cheaper than this. It's cheaper than that. It's still 10,000 pounds. You twat. Do I get a free tart with every one? Can I drive it off into the sun? Has it got a big ashtray? I'm hooked on 40 cigarettes a day. You mustn't smoke. You mustn't drink. You mustn't even try to think. Just say dead. The advert said 8 out of 10 people had no brains. 8 out of 10 people said they enjoyed it. The whole damn country died of boredom. A lot of consumerism critiques in there. A lot of, oh yeah, you say it's this, you say it's that. But either way, I still have to, I'm still slaving at work or a slave to labor to try to attain these things that you say are happy. Of course, with, like I said, consumerism and seeing the TV. Nowadays, since this was in the 80s, but now you could, of course, extend that into the internet, social media, being influenced by different things. The list goes on and on, the things that you think you're supposed to have, but is that really going to make you happy? And are you, like, you're slaving away at work to make money and do this, and is that what you want to put it to? There's so many different directions that can go into, and all of the directions are very well said by the band. Getting into Rain. Well, it's dark outside and it's raining, and the atmosphere is like it always has been. Thoughts of revolution, how and why, just pass on by. Gloom and depression, faked deprivation, well, I got no money. Are you depressive or depressing? Obsessive or obsessed? Someone or no one, are you alive or dead? Do you take your ideas from other people? Surrounded by boredom, you get boring, and then you start to enjoy it. Take all the plugs out and sit in darkness. It's dark in your head, you're not alive anymore. And it's raining. When the rain comes, the rain comes. I honestly, not 100% sure about this one. Like, as it's raining, you kind of get lost in your own thoughts of revolution, thoughts of making changes. But then before you know it, the thought passes, the rain passes, and you're back to doing whatever you were doing before. I think, maybe. I'm probably not looking deep enough into it. I know I'm not, because I'm just wanting to get to the next track. So, hey, you guys know, I know this isn't necessarily the halfway point of the album. I don't know, I'm just doing this now. But I like to throw out a little test to you guys to see if you're still watching, if you're still invested in the video. And so before we dive into the 16-minute title track, I feel like I should ask you a question so you can reply in the comments and let me know that you're still here. What's your favorite song regarding the rain? Since that's what we were just talking about. Mine would definitely be, well, not definitely, but it's the first one I can think of. I had to pull it up real quick. It's going to be this one. Let me pull it up. Hold on, let me skip ahead into the chorus if I can find it. Skip ahead. Skip ahead. Come on. The Dramatics in the Rain. Don't you guys know that one? You guys know that one. Alright, I just wanted to play a snippet of it. There's my answer. So let me know your favorite rain song down below. Now, for the main event, the main course, the appetizer, the main course, dessert, all of it. Let's go ahead and get into this 16-minute title track, From the Cradle to the Grave. Let's just dive right in, guys. I'm excited. I'm really excited. An aggressive fade in. Switch over to rough.
I took you from your mother's womb and put you in a school. Told you how to run your life by following the rules. Told you not to pick your nose or disrespect the queen. Scrub your teeth 3 times a day, your mind and body clean. Save up all your pocket money, nothing is for free. You better trust your parents cause there's no one else you see. And when they send you off each day, remember what you're told. Big thing you don't need teaching, but you'll need it when you're old.
That's a jump off kind of riff. It's almost like a cut down drum solo. Like, jeez. This sounds like a riff XTC would come up with.
And if you're too intelligent, they'll cut you down to size. They praise you till you're happy, then they fill you full of lies. Intelligence is threatening and genius is sin. If you could ever see through them, they know they never win.
I like how they keep inserting new things, new elements.
channel your ability into the right direction. You're good enough and rich enough, you be a politician. On the other hand, if you're too thick, they'll tell you that you're lazy. They'll put you down and wind you up until it drives you crazy.
You hear the extra sticks? They're on the side.
They'll say you want to learn a trade to help you with your life success. It's written every person jobber has a wife. They'll say that storm prepares you for the awesome world outside. Well, it certainly gives you bigotry and a patriotic pride. Racism, sexism, teacher to class. From school to work remains the same. Are you white and middle class? You'll learn the bad men dresses, black and good men dresses. Wind up and visit the playground, say that's right. The girls were made for housework, boys were made to fight the naughty pictures on page 3. Make everything alright. Don't
really
talk
like
to
that
the outside world, these morals you will take. And unless you can reject them, you'll have your mind at stake.
You know I like a bass moment. Come on.
Give you a decision when you get to 82. The right to vote for someone else who says he cares for you. But the only thing he cares about is getting to the top. By conning you with empty words and promise you a lot. But the end result is slavery. It's a full set of ideals. You'll be tempted to believe them, cause they'll seem so very real. The slavery of attitudes that makes you keep in line, subconsciously devoted to the morals of our time.
Oh, good.
And when you end up on the dole, which you very likely will, they'll offer you a brand new trade. Learning how
This song is speaking a lot. And even the music changes around the lyrics, which is really, really cool. What a sneaky little riff this is, huh?
Why don't you join the army? Be a man and not a fool. There's
Doesn't it sound like the haunting call of wounded soldiers and stuff? Or wolves? Sounds like King Crimson. Didn't that moment? Get out of here.
Animals don't wear uniforms, they kill as much as you. But the army kills for money, and animals kill for food. It's the basest degradation in the name of what is right. Become something you never were and regret it till you
That guitar, doesn't it sound like Fripp? That sounds like King Crimson. It's that moment, just that moment. Like from Red.
till you
God, I love how they bring that down.
'Cause your father will tell you, sonny, you must do as you are told. And you'll say the same thing to your kids when you're 32 years old. And unless you can react against the brainwash from the start, your government will rule your mind, and your mind will rule your heart.
Good line.
You'll conform to every social law.
This is it.
And be the system slave. From birth to school to work to death, from the cradle to the grave.
One last go around. You know, when I do album listens like this, I record ahead of time, obviously. So, so, so I'm really curious to see the reaction to this album from you guys. I'm genuinely like I'm really curious to hear what you guys say because from the beginning to the end, I've been constantly surprised listening to this album. I've been constantly thrown a left curve in which my enjoyment. I mean, it started high from the first track. I was like, oh, this is good, but it's just kept on increasing, and it perfectly culminates in the final title track here on the album. I don't even know how to describe this. This is, I mean, obviously by the nature of the length of the song, but just in message, just in music, this is a punk epic. And I'm surprised that I haven't heard about this like earlier, or that I wasn't suggested this earlier. I don't know. But I don't even know where to start. Let's just throw out a few things. Obviously, it's a great, really great track. I love how you really get the emotion as well from Lucas in the singing here, because obviously you've felt that before. Of course, we've gotten tones of aggression and we've got more soft laden vocals at points, but I feel like in this track you really feel the emotional delivery. You really feel a sort of plea to the listeners that it's not just about the music itself, but the music is also a vehicle to get a certain message out to the listeners, to get the message out to an audience, which is really I mean, it's summed up in kind of like the end of the song here, which we'll go into a little bit when we get to the lyrics. But I think it's very well put. The writing for this album, but especially this song, has been very well thought out, well spoken, of course, well written, and the message is clearly received. And I think that it's just fantastic how that's been done. I really enjoyed the moments within the track that allowed for other members to have, in a sense, a solo section. Of course, we got the bass and the drums, just because I forget names sometimes. But Trotsky on the drums, I like how we really basically had a drum solo, just accompanied by Lucas vocals, which was so fantastically done. That was just really nicely done. Then, of course, the bass played by Phil, same thing. We basically get a solo run, in a sense, alongside the vocals, which is just a really cool dynamic to hear the vocals alone with those particular instruments. One thing I thought was really cool, which I can do now, basically with the story, is literally Cradle from the Grave. It talks about going to school, learning certain things, you find, or you realize that maybe you don't have a path, or maybe you're in trouble, so you join the military. Military gives you all these dreams and hopes, but the reality is maybe a little bit more grim. And then it goes on from there, the regrets that you feel. And what I thought was really cool is in the lyrics, when they're talking about the army part, let me find where he says it. At the end, or near the end of what I say is the military part, he says, you'll shoot to keep yourself alive and kill to keep the peace, and then it won't be so much fun as you hear the wounded crying. Because before they couldn't speak English and you didn't know what they were saying, but when the children call you bastard and it holds for a little bit, it gives you emptiness to make you think about that. It will make you think again when you cannot tell the difference between animals and men. And then after that particular moment, we get into an instrumental section where the guitar really nicely captures this kind of ghostly, haunting call. And I think that is so well placed in the music, because after we've just went through that section, I just read those lines, it's like you can feel that haunting kind of feeling, the call of wounded soldiers, the shadow of violence that's cascaded over the music at this particular point. They really hit home certain realities in not only their lyrics, but obviously, like I said, like with the music and stuff. And I think that's really fantastic. Also, certain verses sped up as you could feel a sort of anxiety building through this particular journey. And a lot of the music slowed down to give a lot of impact, such as that moment where I said the music just kind of stops for a moment, gives us a long pause, a brief moment to reflect upon what was just said. And then the story continues. And I think that's really well done. I'm thoroughly impressed with this track. Let's go over some of these lyrics, huh? Well, they took you from your mother's womb and put you in a school, told you how to run your life by following the rules, told you not to pick your nose or disrespect the queen, scrub your teeth 3 times a day, keep mind and body clean. Save up all your pocket money, nothing is for free, and you better trust your parents because there's no one else to see. And then they send you off each day, remember what you're told. You may think you don't need teaching, but you'll need it when you're old. By the way, I totally forgot to mention, I said it during the track, but aren't there some riffs in there, especially near the end, that sound a little bit like King Crimson? I think Red is the track I'm thinking of. Sometimes I hear the section, but I can't remember what song it's from. But the wow, 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 wow instrumental, right? Wow. Like, didn't it sound like that? Anyways, and if you're too intelligent, they'll cut you down to size. They'll praise you till you're happy, then they'll fill you full of lies. Because intelligence is threatening and genius is sin. If you could ever see through them, they know they'd never win. So the track is really coming down on control, conformity. You know, as soon as you come out the womb, they're gonna try and fit you into this little box. They're gonna make you and mold you into the way they want to, whether it's from school as it begins, then into work, and so on and so forth, telling you this and this. And if you step outside the box, or he's like he says, if you're genius, if you're smart, well, you're threatening, you're a sin. Like, you know, so I really like that idea, the way he's saying it, but also like trying to get out of that box, out of that mold. I'm not going to go for every single lyric, by the way, but just to get the point across here. They'll say you ought to learn a trade to help you in your life. Success is written in 3 parts: a job, a house, a wife. They'll say that school prepares you for the awesome world outside. Well, it certainly gives you bigotry and patriotic pride. It gives you certain things that perhaps you weren't expecting. You'll learn that bad men dress in black and good men dress in white, and the pamphlets in the playground say that's right. And that girls were made for housework and boys were made to fight. And the naughty pictures on page 3 make everything all right. And so from school to the outside world, these morals you will take. And unless you can reject them, you'll have your mind at stake. So I really like that. Like, they're going to, you know, educate you and force these things down your throat. But he's saying unless you reject them, your mind is at stake. Which there's a line, I'm going to kind of skip ahead. There's a line that's so good near the end. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Because that just reminded me of it. It's at the very end. I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but there's so many things popping off. At the very end, he says, unless you can react against the brainwash from the start, your government will rule your mind, and your mind will rule your heart. That is so good. That is so good. You'll conform to every social law and be the system's slave from birth to school to work to death, from the cradle to the grave. That is just so good. That is so good. This is a great album. This was a wonderful title track. You guys did a good job with this recommendation. Did you guys enjoy this? I really hope you did. Like I said, I'm very curious to hear and read the response to this album. If you were to ask me right now what my favorite tracks were off the album, so first of all, I don't think there really was a weak track on this album. Some, of course, better than others, but I don't think that there was a bad track on here. I think my favorites would probably be definitely the title track. Yeah. Us Fish Must Swim Together, and perhaps Reality is Waiting for a Bus. I don't know. Yes, those are definitely favorites. Those are the 3 I think of off the top of my head, at least right now. But that could easily change. I can tell you my favorites, like overall title track: Wake Up Screaming, Fish Must Swim Together, Reality is Waiting, Where's the Freedom. Those are my favorites. But top, Cradle, the title track, Fish Must Swim Together, and then I think Reality. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that, though? Are you happy with the album? I hope that you are. I hope that you enjoyed listening to it with me. Please, please, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm very curious to hear the response on this one. Definitely support the channel on Patreon if you're interested. If you'd like to, for as little as $2 a month, press the like button before you leave, because if you've gotten this far, I'd have to imagine you probably did, but if you haven't for some reason, just do me a favor and press that. You can subscribe if you haven't already as well. And yeah, this was a really great album, Subhumans, from the cradle to the grave. Come back tomorrow, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.